And welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rantz here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. Sports Shorts each and every week brought to you by LeBear's Casino in Baton Rouge. Joining me today, the first part of the show and all of the show will be BUZZY HAYDEL, former 2009 national champion, LSU baseball player, and, of course, for the 1,752nd time on this show, TV or radio, he hit the last home run at the old Alec Box Stadium in 2008. Is that correct, Buzz?
Yeah, so if you're a radio listener and you do not know that yet, you do not listen to a whole lot of radio.
You've been living under a rock and Baton Rouge radio, sports talk radio, and TV, because Buzz will let you know. Is it on your business card?
But you know what? It's not. But
you really should.
That really is a.
There should be like a, that's just a little BUZZY HAYDEL to give him the insurance.
Yeah, Heidel Wamskin with the Morris Insurance Group.
Yeah, but I mean, like, seriously, you should have that name, your phone number, your email, and then just a little
caption,
like in a little italics, right at the bottom, or maybe on the back or something. Like, have a picture of you swinging. Like, seriously, Buzz.
I like that, Ronnie. I didn't even think about that until you just said it.
There was an old radio guy in the business that was in Baton Rouge radio for a long, long time by the name of Ed Buggs. His brother Clarence Buggs, of course, works at Guaranty. And Ed used to say, this was 20 years ago, got into the radio business, and his desk was right next to mine. And he'd say, if you did it, it's not bragging. And he said, you need to let people know. So, I mean, Buzz, put it out there.
Oh.
I mean, we do our part on Sports Shorts, God knows, to let people know you hit the last home run at the Alec Box Stadium. Speaking of that, as we, do the show here on Saturday mornings, LSU baseball didn't hit a home run. They could have used you, Buzz, last night, as Tigers find themselves 2-2, headed up through SEC play, taking on Vanderbilt up in Nashville. They don't go there very often. And Vanderbilt finds themselves 4-0, the only team undefeated in the East. But concerning a little bit some of the things you're seeing from LSU baseball, Buzz?
I mean, you'd like to see Hess not give up two-run homers.
Your Friday night starter didn't make it out of the fourth.
Yeah, didn't make it out of the fourth. The real concerning part was the number of pitches. I mean, he was 98 pitches, Ronnie, or right at 100 pitches, 3 1/3 innings. So it didn't even give you.
That's not starter numbers.
No, that's not starter numbers, and it goes back to the old thing, and we've talked about this a lot. He's realistically not a starter. I mean, he's a guy that's out of the bullpen.
In the big leagues, he'll be a reliever.
Yeah, he'll be a reliever, closer type guy. But we're trying to get him to. He's got Friday night stuff. He just a lot of times he doesn't sustain it. And he couldn't last night. And it was a bad look. Not making excuses for him, but it was bad conditions. It was rainy. It was cold. And nothing really went well for LSU. It was just, and they didn't hit for that matter. And it was just kind of a making of a bad game, a typical SEC Friday game though, kind of low scoring, especially in this day and age. Not a lot of offense, and two really just bad pitches that DeMarco and Infante hit out of the ballpark for 2-run homers, and that was really the story of the game. So, it's not ready to hit the panic button yet. It's going to be tough for them to go to go. It was going to be tough for them to win the series there. If you can just go get a game, that'd be great. And of course, they have an opportunity to do that today. With Caleb Gilbert gone.
LSU baseball coming into the season, what was your expectation?
Well, yeah, if you talk to a lot of people with so many people leaving, I would say, I would think they could host a regional. I think hosting a super regional was going to be tough, but hell, they did it for the last 6 years in a row. I realize it's I remember in 2014, I believe, it was kind of the same deal. They didn't really think they were going to be great, and then all of a sudden they turn out, and have a nice year, and then host Coastal Carolina in a super regional. Of course, they didn't get out that super regional, but before the season, Ronnie, I would have said, a regional host type of team. Possibly not a top, 1, 2, or 3 team in the SEC, but 4 or 5, somewhere right there where they'd possibly get you a regional. And, 16, 17 games in the SEC you can win. And then when you kind of saw the beginning of the year, they lose 2 out of 3 to Notre Dame, which is a better team than people thought. But nonetheless, they came down here and whipped us pretty good. I think people started reevaluating, of course, like they always do, even though it's early. And they've had some tough losses, some weekday losses. But what I've liked, and I know Hess didn't have a great game last night. I think the pitching staff is in a way better position than it was 3 weeks ago. Way better position.
And what makes you feel that way?
Well, first off, Labus. And I really like Labus.
Freshman
I think
righty from Florida. Yeah,
I think he needs to be in the weekend rotation.
Well,
he throws too many strikes.
He may be,
and he may be
at some point.
But I think, I mean, Caleb Gilbert's on a really short leash for me. Like, you've got to start getting guys out, at a consistent rate. And then, of course, Mikael Hilliard, the way he stepped up. I mean, he's a guy that on Sunday does everything you want him to do. Throws a ton of strikes, makes them earn everything they get, the opposing team. And he was really impressive against Missouri. I think he gave up the 2 runs in the first, but he's really settled in. The way, Bain has kind of come along as the closer. Nick Bush, I like the way he throws it. You know what you're going to get from Beck. Truthfully, Ronnie, if we're being honest, it's the top of the line guys. I mean, it's the Zach Hess and the Caleb Gilbert who we thought were going to be just dominant. And Hess has obviously shown signs of that. Those are the guys that really probably need to step up their game more than anybody else.
These numbers that I'm giving you on Caleb Gilbert. Caleb Gilbert is the guy that you mentioned. He's on a short lease. And as far as I'm concerned, for LSU baseball, Caleb Gilbert, for the casual fans, the guy who beat Oregon State last year on that Saturday game in the semifinal to put LSU in the finals. Oregon State was number 1 in the country, invincible, and the Tigers won 2 in a row. And Caleb Gilbert, as a junior, as a guy who throws 90 to 94 miles an hour and a lot of strikes, had a good summer in the Cape Cod with the Chatham A's, or Anglers now, and had a good fall. And, I mean, the LSU baseball was raving about Caleb Gilbert. Like, this guy's going to be a high draft pick and the whole deal. After the first weekend, he went from Friday to Saturday. They moved Hess to Friday. He's had one or two okay outings. His strikeouts per innings pitch is way below for a guy who throws 90 to 94. You need to average a strikeout per inning pitched in order to be a pretty quality, high-end pitcher. And Caleb Gilbert right now finds himself with a 2-1 record and a 4.21 earned run average. That doesn't really tell the whole story. The story is he's made 5 starts. In those 5 starts, he's gone a total of 25 and 2/3 innings. Okay, so he's not even averaging 6 innings per start, which is what you need out of a starter. Mm-hmm. He's averaging right at 5 innings per start. In those 25 and 2/3 innings, he's given up 35 hits, which is a bunch. Opponents are hitting .337 against Caleb Gilbert. You want your batting average against to be 250 or below. That's the goal. In those 25 and 2/3 innings, he's walked 6 and only struck out 15. I mean, only 15 strikeouts in 20. Listen, a young Ron Rantz from the left side that wasn't near as talented as Caleb Gilbert averaged a strikeout per inning pitch, as most quality, decent pitchers do. But he's only struck out 15 per 25 and 2/3 innings and given up 4 homers. So Caleb Gilbert's got to get it right and got to get it in a hurry. Even if he doesn't, though, Buzz, let's say he goes out there against Vanderbilt this weekend and Caleb Gilbert doesn't have a quality start and does like a Zach Hess, doesn't make it out of the 4th. I don't know if Paul Maneri is going to pull the plug just yet and insert Labus into the rotation. I don't know if, A, he's got enough confidence and body of work in Labus to trust it, and B, if you're giving up on Caleb Gilbert, I mean, that's a bad thing for this team. Like, I mean, this team's not going to be where you want it to be at the end of the season if Caleb Gilbert's not able to pitch.
No, yes and no. But a couple things I want to hit on that you mentioned on the 2 big numbers. I mean, 337 opponents batting average. That's really bad. And 15 strikeouts. Right. He's not striking out anybody. Okay, a guy that throws 94 miles an hour. You got to be able to strike guys out. I'll play the other side just a little bit, Ronnie, because again, now I wasn't totally impressed, and I know it was only 1 inning by Storrs. On the weekday game against Tulane. I know he started but he looks the part, right? I mean, he looks great. But he's another guy that if they can get him right, and I know it's a big if. I get that.
He's a bullpen guy, don't you think? I mean, you don't see Storrs as a like.
They're talking like they want to see what he can do on the weekends.
It always amazes me and it's just Coach Maneri is a very hunch guy. Yeah. A hunch coach. He gets a feeling, and look, let's face it, a lot of his hunches are right if you go back and look at what he's done over the last 10-plus years. But it always amazes me how they always put expectations in guys coming off injury.
Right,
I mean, like, whoa. we've got expectation from a guy who's coming off injury, like Labus for that matter,
or a guy that's never done it before.
Yeah, you guys are freshmen. Let's slow the roll. I mean, let's Stores can give me 2 outings a week, 1 inning each, or 1 2/3 out of that bullpen. Great, let's ease him into it. Let's not just rip the training wheels off after the first time around the block.
No, I agree with you. But the other guys that give me confidence again, and I don't know if I'm making too much of this or not. Doug Thompson and I were doing the radio, and he felt my affinity for AJ Labus. But I really think this guy. I know he doesn't light up the radar gun.
Yeah, he's 85 to 88.
Yeah, but he just gets guys out, right?
Strikes with 3 pitches.
What I see is he gets guys out, and he gets guys out on a consistent basis.
He's got a great demeanor.
Yeah, and he doesn't let anybody. You ready for this? 16 innings pitched, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Now, the strikeouts aren't big, but he's not a strikeout guy. Right. 2 walks. They're gonna earn everything they get with him.
He's like a right-handed lane messing
He really is. And I don't know if I'm making too much of it, but that's why I disagree with you a little bit that if Caleb Gilbert isn't the guy, I think we have a pretty good fallback with Labus, although I know he hasn't done it yet, but he's done it for a few times yet, and they've started to extend him. And then, oh, by the way, let's throw Gilbert in the back end of the bullpen, or in the bullpen where he's had some success, and now it looks okay.
The bottom line is that you and you're saying it right here. The bottom line is that there's still a lot to be determined
Absolutely.
with LSU baseball. We're not even to April yet. There's a lot of question marks about this team. Preseason, they were not ranked in the top 10. I think one poll had them in the top 10. Everywhere else pretty much had them between 13 and 16. And quite honestly, if LSU finds itself ranked, 14, 15, 16, that may end up being good enough to host a regional, but they might be 5th in the league, and it's way too early. They play 30 games. They're only 4 games in. They find themselves 2-2. But just like in football, this league is super tough. In baseball. Anybody can beat anybody. I said on, I think, Matt Moscona's show a few weeks ago, I think it was around when LSU lost to Southeastern, prediction was, what I thought this team would be. I said 14-16 in the SEC.
Wow.
32-24 overall.
That number's coming down, Big Ron.
I mean, 14-16 in the SEC, 32-20. That's what I said a month ago. I might have been a little knee-jerk, but, in retrospect, I'm maybe thinking more 15-50. But, look, I'm not gonna take it off the table. I mean, I'm gonna keep it on the table. It is what it is. It's stated for the record. But 32-24, 14-16. If that happens, it's probably not good enough for them. That's not good enough for them to host a regional.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are on the proverbial bubble to get into the NCAA tournament at 14-16 in the league, and with potentially, in my scenario, 8 out-of-conference losses. They're going to be on the bubble. Now, the LSU across the chest probably gets them in, but they're going to be on that bubble, and their schedule's a good one.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the SEC right now, and I'm going to get it because I actually saw a tweet from Herb Vincent, who's with the SEC now, used to be a associate athletic director, I believe, with LSU. Love Herb. He tweeted the standings for the SEC. Ronnie, in the West, there's like 5 teams are ranked in the top 25, and like 3 of them are in the top 6 or 7.
Right.
Arkansas, Ole Miss is there, and Auburn. And then Texas A&M is like 15 or 16. I'm going to get the exact numbers, but I'm saying this is a really good league right now, as it always is, but some top-heavy teams right now in the top 10 is very impressive. So you're right. They're going to, the only thing that may save them is that the game is, the league is so good, they may be able to falter a little bit and still get in.
Speaking of the league and SEC baseball, they play 30 games. That means that there's 2 teams, or 3 teams rather, on the other side of the division that you don't play. So like in football, LSU football plays everybody in the West, and they play 2 teams in the East. Florida's the permanent opponent, and then they rotate the other opponent as a home and home, every few years. In baseball, there's 14 teams total. You're obviously the 14th team. That means 3 teams you don't play. Paul Maneri says he wants to play 39 games in the SEC and play everybody in a 3-game series, not just 30. We'll get to that at some point in the show. We'll also Ross Dellinger will join us at 11:30 today on Sports Shorts in the second hour. Don't want to miss it. Sports Shorts brought to you by LeBears Casino. Be back right after this.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Does the new year mean new windows, hardy plank, or vinyl siding? Then you need to call Relief Windows for award-winning customer service and years of experience. Looking for quality replacement windows with lifetime warranties? Trust Relief Windows. Call us or come walk through our showroom and get a free consultation with one of our many window experts. Relief Windows is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Come see us today or call 288-8138. 288-8138.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the...
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rentz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heydel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, I'll tell you what, the NCAA tournament has been just crazy, absolutely crazy. Obviously the highlight is Virginia losing. Am I right? I mean, Virginia gets beat. They're the number 1 seed. They lose to the 16 seed, UMBC. University of Maryland, Baltimore County. The Retrievers. The Retrievers.
Right, that's right.
I mean, like, go Retrievers. Unbelievable. You could have put a gun in my head and put my whole family's life on the line, and I would not have been able to come up with the mascot for UMBC before this tournament. I'll forget it in a week. But the amazing story there. But that's not it. I mean, if that had just happened, Virginia lose, and of course that had never happened before. It was no 16 seed had ever beaten a number 1. That would make this tournament amazing and incredible and shocking. But it's been upset city all the way along, all the way along the route. Loyola Chicago is in the Elite Eight.
Sister Jean.
I mean, unbelievable. Loyola Chicago, which my favorite team by far. I mean,
absolutely.
I am all Loyola Chicago.
Same here.
I mean, 100%. I mean, besides the fact that I went to Catholic school and my family went to Catholic school growing up, and I'd pull for Loyola New Orleans or whatever. But Loyola Chicago, who looks like the second coming of Hoosiers out there on the court with the back screens, and I feel like there's a coach over there with a leather, binder hitting his hand, and they're going to run the picket fence out of every timeout. But, I mean, Loyola Chicago, I'm all in. I hope they make the Final Four. But even that, I mean, just upset city galore. Now, we do have some blue bloods that are going to be doing battle. We know that Kansas is going to be taking on Duke, number 1 versus number 2 seed out of the Midwest. That's going to be an epic matchup. The winner, of course, will advance to the Final Four. But the other brackets that we have going on, Michigan knocks off Texas A&M. That's 3 wins right there that LSU had between those two teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you think about that, Michigan, a number 3 seed. I remember LSU won over in Hawaii during Thanksgiving. That was the coming out party, for really this basketball team on a national level. That things were different in Baton Rouge. Texas A&M, LSU beat twice, including that dramatic, 2 threes from the parking lot over in College Station in early January. So Michigan's going to advance to the Elite Eight. Well, they'll take on Florida State. So you got a number 3 seed in Michigan taking on a number 9 seed in Florida State, who knocked off number 1 Xavier along the way, and Gonzaga, who, of course, Jacob Hester always has Gonzaga penciled to win the national championship. So are you automatically, Buzz, an upset guy in the sense that you always going to pull for the lower seed?
No.
I mean, like when Florida State plays Michigan,
no,
number 3 versus number 9.
No, and that's the thing. As I look at this bracket, my picture-perfect Final Four, I don't know if we're getting there yet, but let me just say, I want Loyola Chicago. I'm that guy. And, oh, by the way, this is actually very funny. If you listen to Moscona, he actually brought, his mom comes on every year and gives her picks.
Right.
And his whole his thought to that was anybody can pick anybody, or any person, you don't have to be a basketball fan, can make a bracket.
Correct.
Because it doesn't matter anyway. Well, and I could be wrong. I know she had Loyola Chicago going very deep. I'm not sure that she had Loyola Chicago in the Final Four. She might have. But point is, you know what her reasoning was? Because she goes, oh, I know there's a Loyola in New Orleans, isn't there? She goes, that's why I picked him.
There you go.
There you go. And she had Gonzaga, and she said she picks Gonzaga because she loves saying the name Gonzaga. I just think that's so cool. Anyway, point is, anybody can pick a bracket, and you might have a chance. And so, but no, I'm not an upset guy, but I do want to see Loyola Chicago. I would want to see Michigan. And that's a lower seed because of the LSU factor.
LSU beat them and they can say they
right.
beat the Final Four.
And I something about I love the Michigan, the Fab Five when they were out back in the day. But I do want to see the Blue Bloods. I mean, I want to see the other side of it. I want to see Villanova and Kansas. I mean, it's good to have these upsets and all that, but at the end of the day, you want good basketball too. And it's good to get those guys that had done so well throughout the year to earn that 1 seed. That they get Villanova.
By the way, Mama Moscone does have Loyola Chicago in
the Final Four. I thought so when I listened to it. So and she probably, I don't know if she has any other ones right, but like I know she had Gonzaga going too. I'm pretty sure, but regardless, I want to see the 1 seeds from the other side. I want to see Villanova and Kansas do battle because you want to see the best college basketball. You want that to the national championship to produce that the true national champion.
Yeah, you want to have the dominant teams that have been great all year long and deserve to be there, but you don't mind having 1 or 2 Cinderellas.
Absolutely, and you're going to have that. I mean, Florida State or Michigan is going to be in, and
but
the other side.
The real Cinderella, of course, is coming out of the South, which is going to be Kansas State and Loyola Chicago. You got a number 9 seed in Kansas State and a number 11 seed in Loyola Chicago. Either one of those teams that makes it to the Final Four had no expectation of making it to the Final Four, and will be a tremendous story. Now, as good of a story as Kansas State and Manhattan, Kansas would be, everybody's outside of that state is pulling for Loyola Chicago. Now, you could potentially have a Kansas State national championship matchup, and that would be a tremendous story if that happens. I mean, Kansas State is the stepbrother to Kansas over there, but that could happen if Kansas wins the next 2, and so does Kansas State. But Loyola Chicago, an incredible story. They've knocked off Cincinnati by 2, 75-73. They knocked off Nevada. Which Johnny Jones. I mean, I wasn't going to be. I was pulling for Johnny.
Same here.
He's assistant coach for Nevada, and had they made it to the Elite Eight, I'd been happy for him. As it was, I ran into Johnny over in Lafayette right before the start of the season. I want to say it was literally like a week or 2 before the start of the season. He was in town. Ran home real quick to see the family because, of course, his wife and daughter are graduating from University High in the lab school at LSU this year. And he had come in town real quick to see her. She played volleyball and all that kind of stuff. Ran into him at a little truck stop restaurant, I think in Henderson, and we visited for a little while. And, and we knew. I mean, Nevada was ranked preseason. We knew that they were going to be a good team, and they had expectation of making the Sweet 16, and they did. But Nevada Loyola Chicago just shot the lights out in the second half and they lost. But Loyola hasn't really led for much of these games. They've won 3 games and really haven't led to the end. So it's just incredible story.
It's amazing out of the South too. The 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let me make sure I'm getting that right. 1, 2, 3, and 4 were all out of the out of the tournament after the second round.
By the first weekend.
By the first weekend.
After the first weekend.
Absolutely. So it was pretty incredible that that side of the bracket did what it did.
Okay, so we know that we got the Blue Bloods, Kansas and Duke doing battle over there. You got great coaches, great programs. I mean, it's made for TV. The ratings will be through the roof. We've got Villanova and Purdue out of the East. Villanova and Texas Tech. I'm pulling for Texas Tech. I've seen them play a few times this year. They got a nice
I was going to say they must be pretty good because I was listening as well to Jason Williams, the great player for Duke back in the day, and he actually that was one of his teams. Way before. He said, "Watch out for this Texas Tech team. I'm telling you, they're going to make a run. They play well." And it's no secret I'm not a basketball expert on this show, but I thought that was intriguing to see. Texas Tech do exactly what Jason Williams said they were going to do, is just kind of roll through it. And, they had a tough game against Florida, but, they handled Purdue pretty good at 78-65 there in the Sweet 16. So this is going to be interesting.
So Villanova, Texas Tech in the East. The winner will play the winner of Kansas and Duke. On the other side is where the upsets are happening. You got a number 3 seed in Michigan taking on a number 9 seed in Florida State. How about Florida State's road? I mean, they knocked off number 4 seed Gonzaga. They knocked off number 1 seed Xavier to get there. That's being played over in Los Angeles this weekend. And then in the South, of course, Loyola Chicago, which this is being played in Atlanta, so no home court advantage for either. You got Loyola Chicago and Kansas State, which tells me all the folks over in Atlanta are going to be pulling for Loyola Chicago.
Absolutely.
Whenever you're Cinderella and you're on a neutral court, everybody's pulling for Cinderella.
And when you got Sister Jean in the wheelchair sitting on the side, I mean, how can you not pull for that? Are you not a Duke guy? Are you not a true blue blood Duke?
No.
To me, that's like LSU baseball. LSU baseball.
Right.
You know what I mean in the baseball world.
Well, I don't know that I pull for Duke. I don't know that I pull against Duke. I think I put Michigan and Duke kind of in the same category for me. I probably pull slightly more for Duke than I do for North Carolina, but neither one really moves me one way or the other. I appreciate their program. I appreciate their excellence. I like Coach K. And what's funny is the connection between Mike Krzyzewski and Skip Bertman. I played for Skip Bertman in 1991, 1992, and 93 at LSU baseball. Coach K was at Duke. He took over as the head coach of that basketball program, I think, in the early 80s. And if you remember, in the mid and late 80s, Duke was really good. They went to the Final Four like 4 times in a 6-year period, something like that. Didn't win. And so there were some that were saying, I don't know if Coach K can win the big one. Been to the Final Four 4 times in the last 6 years or so, but can't really win the big one when it's on the line. Well, of course, at the same time that was going on, Coach Skip Bertman had taken the 1986, 1987, 1989, and 1990 LSU baseball teams to the College World Series and hadn't won.
Couldn't win the big one.
And I remember I graduated high school in 1990, and I was a freshman on that first national championship team in 1991. There was an article that came out the summer of 1990, and it compared Mike Krzyzewski and Skip Bertman as, 2 coaches that maybe can't win the big one.
Wow.
And it was talking about the comparison of the 2 of them.
That's incredible.
Saying, these are, hey, man, they're good coaches. They can win a lot of games in the regular season, but I don't know. I don't know if they're good enough and if they have the mojo to win the big. And how hilarious is that now? Because they're both Hall of Fame coaches, considered the greatest coaches in the modern era. And I've gone on. I mean, Coach Bertman won 5 national championships in 10 years. And, oh, by the way, 5 national championships and 5 championship games.
Right.
Never lost.
Yep.
So, and then, of course, Coach K's got his fair share of national titles. So, interesting, how we look back in history, and it changes from year to year, day to day, for that matter. We'll take a timeout. When we come back on Sports Shorts, we'll tell you a little bit about some gymnastics that are going on, LSU gymnastics. Speaking of national titles, Dee Dee Bros do one. And we'll talk about that 39-game schedule that Paul Maneri wants to play in the SEC and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts, presented by LeBairs Casino in Baton Rouge. We'll be back right after this.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to
Relief Window. Experience Relief Window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heidel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Buzzy Heidel, former 2009 national champion, here with us on Sports Shorts, LSU Baseball. And most importantly, for those that are watching on ETEL Channel 4 in Ascension Parish, East Ascension High School state champion, 2003.
That's right.
Just had your 15-year reunion. Everybody telling fish stories, you know, how far they hit it, how hard they threw, all that.
That was good. I didn't realize a young Buzzy Heidel had 3 RBIs in that championship game. 2 for 4. You forget things like that.
You might
though,
want to
Ronnie.
put that on the back of the business card as well.
You forget that you had a big impact on that game to bring out the only state championship to Gonzales.
They'll always remember it. The LSU gymnastics. I mean, you've got. Have you brought the daughters? I mean, have you?
Mary Ellis is in the Bengal gymnastics club.
That's
every
right.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday you go over to LSU.
Into the nice facility. I get to see
world class
it's
facility
incredible.
for LSU gymnastics.
It's amazing. I get to sit right there on on the little bench with everyone else, and I get to see her do her little splits and jumps. She doesn't do a whole lot right now, Coach. We just made 4 March 20th.
Yeah.
She just
slow.
turned 4.
Gotta go slow.
So we got to start off. But no, it's look. She's into it right now, but I think she's going to go more to the golf angle. Mary Ellis, that is, my 4-year-old. I think she wants to go
pushing her to golf?
No, I'm not. Actually, she wants to do it, and so I think this might be the last year of gymnastics.
Really? How does she – wait, hang on. She's 4. How does she know what she wants to do?
I'm just telling you, Ronnie, I don't know if I have the smartest 4-year-old in the world. Maybe I do, okay? Call me proud papa. But
I guess 2 negatives made a positive. I mean, is that how that works?
I said, Mary Ellis, I said, she every morning she said, do I have gymnastics today? I say, no. And then when it's Tuesday, I say, yes. She goes, she kind of gets upset. I'm like, well, do you not want to do gymnastics? I swear with my right hand to the Lord.
That was your left.
Yeah, okay. Right hand. Well, we're on TV. I think it turns it around,
It doesn't.
She,
it really doesn't.
She said, no, Dad, I don't want to do gymnastics no more. I said, well, what do you want to do? She said, I want to golf.
Now, has she ever golfed?
Check out her clubs. Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you videos. She swings. She's got a move. She doesn't hit the ball all the time, but she's got an aggressive move through impact.
Right.
Her mom's athletic. Of course, her dad done a number of great things we've talked about on this show. But it's impressive to watch, Coach. I'm going to tell you, you when she strikes it, it's pretty good. Now she's only 4.
Now,
but
are you on Snapchat?
I am.
Okay, so I need to start seeing some of these golf swings.
Okay.
I need you to be like BG, like Brian Langlois, who just like, I mean, I
little
feel
much.
like, oh my gosh,
It's
I feel like I know everything his kids do every day. You know, they have practice or they shoot a basketball.
Yeah.
It's their video. It's too much. But I would like to see
couple.
a few, just so I can see the progress.
I'll do it, but we got totally off on the wrong subject. LSU gymnastics. I know that's where you wanted to go with.
You bring her over there in the whole 9 yards.
She does like it. I will say she does like it.
Well,
She
who
just
doesn't like Dee Dee Bro? I mean, she got inducted last year in 2017 into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. She's brings a tremendous amount of energy. She's from the West Side like you are now, Buzz.
Yeah.
Originally from Donaldsonville. And believe me, anybody from Donaldsonville, they're proud of
We'll
her.
let you know.
They'll let you know. But, you know, look, they finished second in the country the last couple of years. They have had a fantastic year. They're getting better as the season goes on. I don't know anything about gymnastics, but I can watch those numbers, and they continue to go up. And the bottom line is you ready for this? Peaking at the right time. That's my gymnastics analysis for you. But here's the other thing. I used to never watch gymnastics except for the Olympics. Every 4 years, I'd watch a bunch of 16-year-old girls run around and hopefully medal. And then as the communist countries stopped funding gymnastics to the level that they used to, the United States just started taking off. And all of a sudden now the U.S. finishes first or second in everything. But LSU gymnastics, they've got it down, man. I mean, college gymnastics, and especially to the level that they do it in the SEC, is entertaining. It's fun. And here's the best part about it. Like volleyball, which my daughter played for the last few years, and not so much when you get to college, volleyball's 3 out of 5 sets. That can drag. But in high school or really club volleyball, it's an hour. It's in gymnastics, it's 2. It's condensed. It's short. It's action-packed. It's air-conditioned. It's fast. You know that you're going to be in and out in 2 hours.
No, it's family-friendly, and it's a great.
And it's cheap. Yeah.
It's
and I know that's important to you, Buzz.
That's big.
You've
for
never
me,
paid more than $10 for a ticket of any kind in your life.
It's very important.
Isn't that
to
true?
me.
Have you ever paid more than $10 for a ticket?
I feel like I bought Bayou Country Superfest tickets. That was Annie Beth and I, my wife and I, was one of our first.
Was that like an anniversary?
Well, it was one of our first dates. No, like of ever meeting.
It was the first date. You came out the box strong on the first date with some expensive tickets, and you've never done that again.
I went maybe like 35 or 40 for Disney on Ice for Mary Ellis when she was like 3.
You did do that?
I did do that. And I didn't get the good seats. We were a little far away.
Okay,
she couldn't really see Frozen.
Bayou Country, then 5 years later, Disney
we
on
went
Ice.
Disney. Bruno Mars.
You've never...
Maybe. No, that was Lauren Lamont. You've got those tickets for.
You travel free. Your wife travel. I mean, y'all are the best. Y'all are like gypsies. It's amazing.
No, we're good at doing that. No, that's so far from the truth, Ronnie Rantz. I mean,
have you ever gone to LeBear's and bought a ticket to anything?
That doesn't count.
It's
Ronnie.
been open 6 years. Have you ever bought anything at LeBear's? A ticket for any event?
Yeah, Matchbox 20. I think I bought
and
tickets.
You probably didn't.
Okay. I went on a golf trip with you. Bought my plane ticket.
You bought a plane ticket for like $150 on Southwest.
You're incredible, by the way. No, but it's a great. Right. Let's get back to gymnastics. You're just as bad as me recycling trophies for your tournaments. Don't come here with that. Okay. Let's take the sticker off and put it on the note. Okay, that's neither here nor there. All right. LSU gymnastics, they are incredible. They're going for their second SEC championship in 2 years. Okay, they're going for back-to-back championships. They'll play. They'll compete tonight. Man, the only thing that gets me about gymnastics, and Dee Dee Bro's kind of had this the last few years, when they get to the finals. I'm talking about like what does it call it, the Super Six or something.
Yep.
Man, it's just, and I know this is baseball, this is sports, this is any type of competition, but I just feel like they can dominate the whole way, and then one missed toe touch, one missed deal, and
one missed.
It's over with.
Like if I
it's the national championship,
half a tenth, I'm out.
So
if I don't stick it
right,
then
the perfect example. I'll give you this. Last year, so like the semifinal game, if you win, I know I'm probably messing this all up, but the semifinal game, so the match before they got to the championship to compete.
Game.
I know the match. I'm trying to get there. Their score, whatever that number was, Ronnie. If they would have had that number in the finals, they would have won the national championship.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You see what
they
I'm saying?
set a record in the semis. Right.
So it was just like, I was like, well, to me, and I know I'm an LSU homer and I wanted this so bad for them. I just hate when it comes down to that and one missed toe touch or one missed stick, and it's over
or
with.
One judge that just happens to blink on the landing. I mean, like, seriously. Like, I mean, one judge's ruling.
Yep, that's exactly
a little
right.
harsh, or I don't know. I think I saw her chest lean forward.
Right.
I mean, it's whenever you have a sport there are judges.
Yep.
Then there's always going to be controversy.
I
And
agree.
there's always going to be, things that you don't agree with. And oh, by the way, baseball, which has umpires, which in essence are judges, but most of the time they get it right. But now there's replay.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the fact that there's replay. By the way, this was interesting. Ben McDonald brought this up on the broadcast last week in LSU versus Missouri's series, and he said that nowadays they're almost to the point. They really are at the point where there's the technology to where you really don't need a home plate umpire. In essence, right?
No.
That there's a box. If you ever go to the Alex Box Stadium, just look up at the press box. There's a white box that's right above the press box. It's a computer-generated box that literally can give you the rotation, the speed, the location, the exit velocity, how many times the ball rotates between the pitcher's hand and the catcher's glove. I mean, it's got all this scientific NASA state-of-the-art technology, but yet Bob the Builder is back there behind home plate with a belly, and, he just got in a fight with his wife. He just got late to the park. He's got indigestion from the lunch at Rocco's, whatever the case may be, and he's calling balls and strikes, and everything depends on that guy. Whereas we have the technology to where Mr. Computer Eye in the Sky could literally just put on the board, strike.
Would you be
ball.
in favor for that? Honestly, that would take, that would just take something away from the Skip Bertman running out with the hat backwards and giving it to, you know what I mean?
Well, right. I get it that there's a quality factor to arguing with the umpire, or there's a showmanship to that.
Sure.
Okay, but if we have the technology, then let's change the rules about appealing. Right, let's be able to appeal anything, and that was the point that Ben made,
balls
which
and
was pretty
strikes,
good.
too.
Like because let's face it, in the 8th inning with the bases loaded and a 1-2 count, and the guy throws a good one on the outside corner, and you think it's strike 3, and everybody starts to run off the field, and the umpire goes ball, and then you walk the guy or something, right? Like we should be able to appeal that. You have the technology now to be able to get it right, and it's about getting it right. It's not about whose feelings you hurt. It's not about the history of the game. It's not about any of that. It's about getting it right. And so I'm a fan of getting it right. Now, the thing I'm not a fan of is when you watch the NFL or NCAA, any of these other appeals, and they bring the screen out onto the field like the NFL. They bring the screen out, and he's got the headset on. He's looking through like a little iPad, and he's trying to make a decision with people yelling and screaming and 100,000 in the stands. Just have an earpiece. And in New York, they just buzz and say, he was safe.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we checked it. Good to go. Like, it should just be instantaneous. It shouldn't be this, let's run off the field, have Ted Stickles from facilities come out onto the field and take you into the locker room at Alex Box and set up the equipment, and Kevin Wagner back at LSU Master Control hit buttons. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We've got the technology to where it can be instantaneous, or there's a home office in Atlanta or Birmingham or whatever that watches the games, that sees, yep, that was correct, that was right, the computer says, whatever. All I'm in favor of is getting it right and keeping the game moving. I don't care if people get their feelings hurt along the way.
Well, I'm with you on that. The only problem I have is, okay, so is a ball that far off the plate, is that a ball or strike,
You're holding
Ronnie?
your fingers apart for the people
Okay,
at radio land.
2 inches. We're on TV, too. 2 inches. Is that a ball?
Or I thought that was 6 inches. That's only 2?
Yeah, that's only 2.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Shucks.
All right, anyway, but yeah.
Is that a ball or strike?
It's a ball. If it's off the plate, it's a ball.
You would have never pitched for LSU.
I
And
would have played at Southeastern.
You would have
100%.
never
I could not
played.
have-
My point is,
Any program that has the computer, I could not have pitched for.
to the naked eye, 2 inches is a strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
And so now you're going to put it in technology's hand to call it a ball. That it just starts getting real sticky, Ronnie. That's all
Look,
I'm
we're
going
going to take a break. When we come back, Henry Hayes, our resident basketball expert, will join us, and we'll talk hoops right after this.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Does the new year mean new windows, hardy plank, or vinyl siding? Then you need to call Relief Windows for award-winning customer service and years of experience. Looking for quality replacement windows with lifetime warranties? Trust Relief Windows. Call us or come walk through our showroom and get a free consultation with one of our many window experts. Relief Windows is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Come see us today or call 288-8138. 288-8138.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy,
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heidel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Sports Shorts. Buzzy Heidel and myself holding down the fort today. On Sports Shorts, we will hear from Ross Dellinger will be here in studio with us. That's coming up in the second hour, so halfway through the second hour. You don't want to miss that. Sports Shorts, of course, now on Saturdays, 10 until noon, our permanent home on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge, and also Sports Shorts TV will be on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night on Pelican Broadcasting, 8:30 p.m. each of those nights. You can check out a replay of our TV radio show, whatever you want to call it. It's all in one. Joining us right now from Mexico is Henry Hayes, our resident basketball expert here on Sports Shorts. How are you, Henry?
Hola, Ronnie.
Hola. By the way, Henry, you can't see, and when you get back to the stateside and you watch Pelican Broadcasting, we have a great Glamour Shots photo of you that we're using on the screen since we're on TV as well now. So, I mean, you got this professionally done. It's your Twitter pic, so we snagged it and grabbed it, which you haven't tweeted in a year. You need to get after it. And
yeah, I need to step my game up.
And it's a great glamour pic of Henry in his younger days. Is this the wildest basketball bracket tournament that there's ever been, in your opinion?
Well, it's funny, the one side of the bracket is absolutely, there's no question. We have 2 9s and an 11 playing. And then the other side is as chalk as can get.
Yeah.
So it's chaos on one side and complete normalcy on the other. So, obviously we've seen the upsets, but on the other side of that bracket, it's completely turned upside down, which is, I think, is so interesting. And look, it can happen. In a year when a 16 finally beat a 1, that stuff will and can happen. And I think it's good for college basketball. I think it makes it exciting. It's funny, though, Ronnie, at the end of the day, I do think the viewers want a chalk Final Four. So you get your upsets out of the way, and then you get back to the big ones.
The Loyola Chicago, did you ever see this coming? Did you know anything really about them prior to the tournament?
It's funny. My son, I have a 15-year-old who watches it pretty closely. He had them going to the Sweet 16, and he told me a little bit about them. And I knew about the program and the coach, but to say I never saw him play. We looked at his schedule a little bit, but every now and then a program like that will get a collection of kids. That there's a lot of transfers these days, running, as you know. College basketball, it's been rampant in for years. So you lose track of kids that leave big programs and they resurface at places like that, or you have a culture in a program where you have 4- and 5-year players that have been through your program. They're 21, 22, 23 years old, and you strike lightning in a bottle for a year. We see that kind of popping up more and more. Gonzaga kind of was the original poster child for non-Power 5 dominant basketball program. And of course, they've been good for 20 years. But you see Loyola's pop up across the landscape. So that one in particular, no, I did not see coming.
The LSU fans, of course, watched the Michigan Texas A&M game, Sweet 16 matchup with pride, because of course LSU went 3-0 against those two teams. Obviously, this is a little bit of a different Michigan team than the one that they faced over in Hawaii. What is it about Michigan that in your mind, they've got Florida State coming up at number 9 seed? Does Michigan advance that one? What have they done to turn things around and make themselves so good this year?
Yeah, Ron, I think they do. John Beilein is a coach that is probably one of the most underrated in the country. He's a guy who obviously came from West Virginia before Michigan, took that program over. And, Michigan was in the dumps when he did take over. Tommy Amaker didn't work out. They had some misses. So he came back and he instills really solid offensive principles. They guard well. And then you get guys like Mo Wagner who, that's a difficult cover. He's a guy that presents a lot of problems, but they really shoot it really, really well. I mean, last night, that wasn't even a game. I mean, A&M had no chance. I think they had 9 guys make a 3 in that game. Think about that. You usually have a 3-point shooter or 2. They had 9 guys make a 3. So obviously, look, they're not going to play like that. But it's funny. You look at the game prior, Texas A&M completely demolished North Carolina. Again, not a game. Carolina was never in that game. And then they come out and they just get worked by Michigan. So I think Beilein his teams are efficient. They run fundamental sets on offense that typically get good shots. They don't make a lot of mistakes and beat themselves. So it's a fun group to watch, and I think they do beat Florida State.
Kennedy over at Texas A&M. No, is he in any jeopardy? I mean, he made it to the Sweet 16. It was a helter-skelter year for the Aggies basketball. They could literally lose to anybody and beat anybody, but he's okay.
I think so. It's interesting, Ronnie, though, you watch. This is a little bit of. I'm not gonna equate LSU next year, but two examples: Alabama and A&M, and I bring those two up in the league because Alabama gets Colin Sexton, who most of your listeners are familiar with. He'll be a one and done. In fact, he's already declared for the draft, and he'll be a lottery pick. So it's interesting to watch how programs immediately upgrade their talent, really through the roof, because Sexton's a really good player. And then A&M had similar talent. Robert Williams will be a lottery pick. So I would say, though, that both fan bases are left a little underwhelmed based on the amount of talent, and then they're gone. So, obviously Kentucky's been through this year after year after year. Duke is now also on that treadmill. Krzyzewski's got the top 3 players, 1, 2, and 3 in the country coming next year to Raleigh. But it'll be interesting to see with those programs because when you play that game, you got to reload the chamber. So I think he's okay, but I think that he better keep recruiting really, really high.
Real quick, Villanova, Texas Tech, who comes out?
Nova, I love what they're doing. I think Jay Wright's the best coach in the tournament for my money, Ronnie. I take him. Brunson is exactly what you want. Veteran guard who's been through it. I think actually they run Texas Tech.
Okay, Duke, Kansas.
I like Duke. Again, Grayson Allen's a senior guard matched with the young talent they have, which is so rare. You have a first-rounder as a senior, which Allen will be, and you match that with a couple other lottery picks. I think Duke rolls.
And does Loyola Chicago make it to the Final Four?
I think Cinderella loses her slipper, Ron. I think that
damn it.
Matchups. It's been fun to watch, but the matchups just don't. They don't play for them, and I think you're about to play against teams that have 2 and 3 NBA guys on it. So I think the run's over. Hopefully, Chris Eugene can make it.
30 seconds. What happened to LSU basketball? And they had the great win against UL, but they went over to Utah and just got voted.
Yeah, look, this team hasn't played well on the road this year, except in spots. We've seen that, so not a surprise. And look, it was a long year of there were habits that needed to be reestablished to make these guys somewhat winners again. So that, Ronnie, that takes a lot out of you, and it's energetic. so Nick hired, and I started when he was playing for house money when they went to Utah. And of course, Utah just shot the lights out. But all in all, I give Will and his group an A this year. I mean, taking the league wins from 2 to 8, beating seven wins in the top 50, beating A&M twice, Arkansas twice, Michigan, Houston. So, and obviously everyone knows what's coming next year.
Henry, thanks for the time. Enjoy the trip back from Mexico.
Okay, guys, thanks.
All right, Henry Hayes, our resident basketball expert. That's hour number 1 in the books. We'll take a break. We'll come back hour number 2. Lot to get to. Ross Dellinger will join us then as well.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to
Relief window. Experience Relief window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything.
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie RANTZ, Joel Davis, and Buzzy HAYDEL on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hour number 2, Sports Shorts here with you. Buzzy HAYDEL in studio here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ross Dellinger, of course, who does a fantastic job covering LSU athletics for The Advocate, will be joining us here in about 30 minutes. You don't want to miss that. He'll be in studio with us. First hour of the show, we talked a little bit about LSU baseball as the Tigers have just kind of trying to still find their sea legs. I mean, I think this LSU baseball team here at the, towards the end of March is going to look very different at the end of April than it does right now. I think the lineup, the rotation, how they use players, all of that will change. We know that from the history of dealing with Paul Maneri. Buzzy HAYDEL, of course, played for Paul in that 09 National Championship team. He knows firsthand. He's not afraid to change it up. He's not just going to sit by and idly leave this situation the way it is. LSU, of course, 2-2 as we tape here and do our show. Still a lot of baseball left to be played. We talked about LSU gymnastics. We heard from Henry Hayes, our resident basketball expert, about this wild and crazy NCAA tournament. All of that was in hour number one. Hour number two, we'll talk some LSU athletics with Ross Dellinger. Of course, we'll talk some spring football, and we'll also talk some LSU baseball with him in when Ross comes in studio. But there was a topic of conversation on Hanging with Hester, and then that I want to ask you about, Buzz, from Thursday's show. But also, I want to ask about some interesting comments. It was in the paper. Paul Mainieri said this: 39 games he'd like to play in college baseball. Currently, the SEC plays 30, and then they play 26 non-conference games. So 56 total is the max amount of regular season games you can play in college baseball. Traditionally, you play 30 games in your league. There is no league, I believe, I'm pretty sure, that plays more than 30 games around the country. If you go 20-10, which is always the goal, that's 2 out of 3 of every series. If you go 20-10 overall, you're going to win your division and win the conference overall 90% of the time. If you go 20-10, you're going to be a top 8 national seed. And at the end of the day, it's nice to be a conference champion, but being a top 8 national seed is really the most important thing. If you go 15-15, you're like a 98% chance you're going to make the NCAA tournament. So it's about getting 15 wins to get in. It's about being somewhere between 50 and 20 to host a regional. It's about getting 20 to be a top 8 national seed. Paul Mainieri came out and said he would like to play 39 conference games. That way, and he plays all the other SEC baseball teams in a 3-game series. Now, this to me, Buzz, it sounds like it's spoken like a man who's got a lifetime contract. Because there's a lot of coaches that I don't think feel that way.
I love Coach to death. I don't know that he'd have these same comments 8 years ago. Right before the national championship even, or right after it. I mean, Coach has been around the game 39 years, I think he's in, of coaching, and he's established, and he's not going nowhere at LSU. And so, of course, you want to play.
Take on all comers.
Let's take on everybody. But these young cats at different schools are trying to grow their program, build their program, sign their contracts, become established in the baseball world. You think they want to play 39 conference games? No, they want to play the 4 weekends where they play Tennessee Tech, and they bring in Radford and all these different schools, because they know it's going to be a grind for 30 games. Look, the hindsight is, I mean, you can understand why Coach feels away a little bit. I remember in 2013, LSU had a really good team that year. Alex Bregman was a freshman. Aaron Nola was on that team as a pitcher.
That was when Rafe Rhymes and Mason Katz came back.
They went to the World Series.
They went to the World Series in 12.
No, they lost to Stony Brook in 12. 13, they go to the World Series. Right. They lost 2 games. I don't think they won a game there, but they got there. They were a really good team. Aaron Nola, that was actually the year Aaron Nola threw great against UCLA in that first game, and Bregman had the error, and they lost 1-0.
UCLA bunted LSU to death.
Point is, they did not play Vanderbilt that year in the SEC. Vanderbilt won the SEC outright. LSU was right behind them, but didn't. But it didn't matter. The records weren't the same, but nonetheless, Vanderbilt won. But had they been able to play Vanderbilt, maybe they could have made up some ground. You never know. As it turned out, LSU beat Vanderbilt in the championship game of the SEC tournament that year, so they got a little revenge. But the point is, that's why Coach wants to play everybody. He says that you don't get really a true champion. He goes, the champion is what the rules are, and if you win the most games, you win the championship. But being able to beat everybody or go through the whole entire SEC team would prove to show that a true champion was made.
You'd have a true champion, and also if you had a tie situation, you don't have to have that co-champion thing.
Yep.
Because you'd have if we're tied with Mississippi State, hey, who won that series? That's the champion.
Right.
You all played equal number of teams, equal number of games, the same teams, the same games, and then whoever won that series would be the champion. Because I'm not a fan of the co-champion.
I don't either.
If there's a head-to-head factor.
Yeah, but look, if there's a head-to-head, the bottom line is, though, if there's the head-to-head and you won it, they don't tell you you won the championship. You know how they just do the 1 and 2 seed for SEC tournament's sake.
Right.
But they consider you co-champions. But so I don't like it either. Real quick, the teams they won't play this year, just on the schedule, I think we talked about this already, but Georgia, Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida, they will not play.
Right.
Kentucky and Florida are two
of the better ones.
Two of the better teams. Georgia is actually 3-1 in the conference, and they sit at second in the East right now. So they're a nice team as well. But they miss out on them. They'll play Vanderbilt. They've played Missouri. They'll play Tennessee on the road, and they'll play South Carolina on the road. So
this year the schedule benefits LSU in a sense that they don't play Kentucky and Florida, who will both finish in the upper tier in the East. It's not like you're missing out on playing Tennessee and, whoever. Throw somebody else in there.
How about this real quick, Ronnie? In the West. Now, the East has got some good teams, too. In the West, Arkansas sits atop 4-0 in the conference. They're number 4 in the country. Ole Miss at 3-2. They're number 5 in the country. Auburn, 2-2. They're number 6 in the country. LSU at 2-2 is number 20. Texas A&M at 2-3, number 12 in the country, and Alabama at 1-3, Mississippi State at 0-4. That's SEC standings. That's pretty incredible. 5 teams out of the 7 ranked in the top 25. Oh, and in the top 20, really.
By the way, how about Mississippi State? The Andy Cannizaro hangover effect,
that's incredible.
Right? I mean, they. By the way, it seems like forever ago, but it wasn't. They lost. They got swept 3 straight in Hattiesburg against Southern Miss to start the season, and then Andy Cannizaro got fired that Monday because of the whole scandal with the off-the-field issues with him having an alleged affair and text message. I heard this. I mean, a text message during the baseball game in Hattiesburg to the mistress, was texting in the dugout during the mistress, and one of the equipment managers or trainers or whatever saw him being distracted throughout the weekend and throughout the game on his cell phone. And so at one point in time, when he went out to the mound to make a pitching change or to visit with the guy, he ran over, took a screenshot of his phone that had been left open on the bench. And so that's partly where all of this came from. I mean, that's crazy. Like, you couldn't make that up. If I would have given you a pen and a bottle of whiskey and said, come up with the craziest script in the world of how a coach could get let go.
On the university's phone.
A lot of things.
A lot of questions.
A lot of things. Oh, Andy.
I mean, just a golden opportunity.
I mean, unbelievable.
I've always said this, too.
That's one of the top 5 jobs in the country.
You know what the tragedy of it is?
Top 10, because you have to live in Starkville.
When something bad happens in your life, you always have something to fall back on. But, let's say you lose your job. You hope you got your family to lean back on. You lose, tragically, some family. Well, then you got your job maybe to go. Or so, you know what I mean? There's always something.
This is such a bad analogy you're making right here.
He's lost everything. How do you know? How's that a bad analogy?
I mean,
you lose your job.
You lose your family. You got your job to fall back on.
I'm saying, like, if your wife leaves you or something, now maybe you go to your job.
You just sell more insurance.
You sell more insurance. You can do whatever. You get away from. You got an office to go to. Is my point.
Maybe
he has nothing to go to.
Annie Beth, your wife, and maybe we can, so that you can make more money. Maybe she just leaves you for 6 months. Lives with her friend. You sell a bunch of insurance, she comes back, you're richer. Better off.
You know what the problem is? Anytime somebody makes an analogy, it's the worst. But when Ronnie tries to come up with something, it's the best thing you've ever heard of.
I'm just trying to help you guys scenario so you can afford those Phantom of the Opera tickets.
No, the insurance is fine right now, Ronnie. I don't need to be at the office any more than I am. Trust me.
So Mississippi State, who last year was in a super regional at the box, it was an epic showdown. By the way, Mississippi State's redoing all their stadium and the condos in left field. I mean, it's an unbelievable project that they have going on. They're right there on the cusp of being, Paul Maneri's nemesis for the next, X amount of years that he's the head coach at LSU because of the whole Andy Cannizaro thing and how it went down.
Yeah,
it would be just that little pest. That little pest that's just constantly yapping and nipping at your heels and the whole deal. That was Mississippi State and Andy Cannizaro's role for the next year, to just challenge LSU and recruits because of his connections to Louisiana. That it was going to make for this soap opera battle every year when they faced each other. Are they going to shake hands at home plate? All that. It's gone. Yeah. It's all gone because Andy just couldn't keep his things in where they're supposed to be. Unbelievable.
Do you have any more on that story or no? I mean, any more details you can give us?
I heard it was alleged. There's a soccer girl thing thrown around, alleged, and then, it's just too much. It's too much. And I mean, look, the guy's married, or I don't know what the status is on that. He got 3 kids. His wife.
To a lawyer. That's not good, Coach.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you.
Oof. Anyway, so the West is very different.
Where were we going with that?
The West is very different. The SEC West in baseball is very different. With Mississippi State being down at the bottom of the pack right now, not looking like they're going to get it back up there at the top of the pack because it's just been a strange year for a lot of reasons. But Arkansas is the real deal. We knew they were going to be the real deal, and they are.
Yeah, they beat Singer last night too. Brady Singer from Florida beat them. The final was 6-3. They're 4-0 on the year. I mean, to go into they're in Gainesville too.
Right.
To go into Gainesville, we knew Arkansas was going to be good. They've started off as hot as you can start off.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big time. And Brady Singer is one of the best pitchers in the country, and is going to be a first-round draft pick most likely, first or second-round draft pick. And so that for them to do that, that's impressive. LSU baseball still trying to figure out the lineup and still figuring it out. So are you in favor of 39? Never going to happen. 39-game schedule, SEC baseball, which Paul Maneri wants to play. In your mind, never going to happen.
I don't think it'll ever happen because, I don't know how it all works. You got to have enough votes, don't you? You have to have enough people on board. They're not going to get on board. He's the only one.
If that ever did happen, if 39 of your 56 games were SEC games, then that means the other 17 games would be against the SWAC.
Absolutely.
I mean, no more home and home with Tulane, no more UL twice. Like, it's just straight Alcorn, Southern, Grambling, Texas Southern, like all day, every day.
LSU Shreveport, LSU Alexandria.
LC. Can we get Mike Burns on the phone, play out the Wildcats? So on Thursday, Jacob Hester and I on Hanging with a Hester, which each and every Thursday he and I would do that show together. He mentioned this, and this was great. So I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to tell you what he said, but I just want to ask you.
All right.
If an SEC team is playing in a championship game of any kind, gymnastics, volleyball, baseball, football, does not matter the sport. Any SEC team is in the championship and their name's not LSU. And they're taking on another team that's a non-SEC team. They're taking on Kansas. They're taking on Indiana. They're taking on Ohio State. Whoever, Clemson. In any sport, who are you pulling for?
SEC. But
all the time?
No.
Okay, there's a but. There's a but coming.
There's always a but. But not all the time. This is hard
Where's
for me.
the scenario where you're not pulling for an SEC team?
This is very hard for me. I really do like, and this isn't me. I don't have it out for Alabama. I really do like when they get beat. Okay?
In any sport or just
No. Football.
Okay.
Because they've won enough and they've won so much, and Nick Saban, and he is great. But I like when Clemson beat them. It just makes me feel good when Clemson beat them.
Alabama football, that's the outlier. That's the exception in your mind.
Or like if there was again, I know people,
So Kentucky basketball's in the finals. You're pulling against Kentucky?
No, you're pulling for Kentucky.
Right, okay.
But unless they're playing Loyola Chicago.
Florida baseball is taking on Clemson in the national championship 3-game series to win it all.
This is where I'm going with it. I'm pulling for Florida, but there are certain scenarios because there are teams that aren't SEC teams that I like, and
really?
Certain coaches, certain
Give me one.
ULF yet?
Okay, so
if Tony Robichaux is playing Florida for the national championship, I'm pulling for Tony Robichaux in the Raging Cajuns.
I think we put that in the category of exception, right? Like any Louisiana team taking on an SEC team.
So it's not always.
Okay, so. But that's scenario. Okay. Well, I'm not saying it would never happen. We hope it will. But
yeah, I mean,
Coastal Carolina won the national championship 2 years ago, and they're in the Sun
Coastal
Belt.
Carolina,
So
I was actually pulling for Coastal Carolina.
You were pulling
very
for
much.
Virginia.
So it didn't matter. But point is, teams
that was
like
Paul's guy.
I know that was Coach O'Connor.
Yeah.
So it's not always. There are some outliers there. And then look, when it's Alabama football, they've won enough. I can see them lose.
So you're always pulling against Alabama football in the finals, and that's really the exception, other than a Louisiana team.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I can live with that.
Okay.
I can live with that.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you though. I'm SEC all the way through. I got the SEC draws. I'm the guy in the stands pumping the fist, going SEC. It doesn't matter if Alabama wins it every year. And by the way, you know who else agrees with me on that? Jordan Jefferson. All right, we're going to take a break. Sports Shorts will be back. I hate to compare myself to Jordan Jefferson. I don't have as many sneakers as he does. But the point is that he was part of the team that went 13-0 before they lost in the finals, and he agrees with me. All right, we'll be back. Sports Shorts will continue. Ross Dellinger in 15 minutes right after this.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Does the new year mean new windows, hardy plank, or vinyl siding? Then you need to call Relief Windows for award-winning customer service and years of experience. Looking for quality replacement windows with lifetime warranties? Trust Relief Windows. Call us or come walk through our showroom and get a free consultation with one of our many window experts. Relief Windows is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Come see us today or call 288-8138. 288-8138.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heidel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back, everybody. Ronnie Rantz, Buzzy Heidel here with you. Ross Dellinger of The Advocate will be with us in just a few minutes here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This coming up, March the 27th, Tuesday, March the 27th, is the Wally Pontiff Jr. Foundation game, the classic down at the Shrine on Airline in Metairie, the old Zephyr Field. 7 o'clock, that game will be live on Cox Sports Television, produced by the Jumbo Sports Network. This will be, I think, the fourth year in a row that LSU and UL Lafayette are doing battle. The Raging Cajuns off to a slow start this year, but this is a game I know that's near and dear to your heart. You're good friends with Nick Pontiff, Wally's younger brother. You've played in this game before. It's kind of continued to just grow and grow and grow. It's been sold out the last few years. Of course, the matchup has helped with that. But I know each and every year this is a special one for you.
It is, and it was special for a number of different reasons, as you said, for the quality of person Wally Pontiff Jr. was, and I didn't know him. It's just the stories I hear from him. Of course, as you said, he and his brother and I are really good friends, and it's really cool to hear a lot of good stories. It's cool to see the videos of him, and I really think it's neat that Coach Maneri still continues to do it and doesn't let his that memory fade of Wally, because time, you think about it, I mean, that was 15 years ago now, or 16. It was 2002. Yeah. So 16 years ago, Wally passed away, and it's really neat when the players, we did it. And of course, Pontiff was on that team, Nick Pontiff. We were able to, we would jack the pants up and wear them up like Wally did, and it's fun to see the players still to this day who would have not known Wally or not, ever seen him play or anything like that, or really remember. Although the Caleb Gilbert story is pretty cool, how he remembers seeing him in Hoover, but still carry that tradition of jacking the socks up, or the pants up, and I hope they continue to do it. And, of course, they got guys like Sean Ochinko, Nolan Kane on that coaching staff that know the history, and that'll relay it to them. But, yeah, really cool, a really cool event. And then it's turned out to a great game. Of course, UL Lafayette, we know the history with them. They've already won a game, the first game this year against LSU in a barn burner down at Teague Moore Field. So they needed some revenge, and they needed, LSU's going to have to play well to win this game.
Raging Cajuns, we talked a lot about in the first hour about the LSU kind of off to a slow start. Raging Cajuns, big time trouble. 9-12 on the year, 9-12 below 500. That's a .430 winning percentage. They're 1-3 in the Sun Belt Conference, and it has been a struggle, particularly on the offensive side of things. Although recently the pitching has kind of let them down at times. They did lose the first game of the weekend series as we are here on Saturdays. They lost to Troy in the opening game of the weekend series. They do have wins out of conference against McNeese, against Tulane, against LSU. They've got a win against Vanderbilt. They shut out Vanderbilt 3-0 over in Houston in a series. They got wins against Nicholls State, and they beat Texas once. But they just have too many losses. And most importantly, in the conference, from the Sun Belt Conference, which doesn't get a lot of run nationally, but is a super tough conference. You talk about South Alabama and Coastal Carolina and Troy and the Raging Cajuns. I mean, these are teams that perennially, year in and year out, are very good teams, can beat the big boys. And, there's a lot of other teams as well. I mean, Georgia Southern's much improved and others, but these are teams that you don't want to play, at the end of the season. No, if you're an LSU or a school like that. I mean, don't sleep. By the way, Coastal Carolina won the national championship just 2 years ago.
And came to Baton Rouge and beat us in a super regional.
Yeah, beat LSU in a super regional.
And Coastal Carolina's always had a good program. They were baseball savvy, if you will. But they were really put on the map when they came into Baton Rouge. And, not a lot of people do that, Ronnie, come into Baton Rouge, win in that stadium. And then not just that, they go on to Omaha and win the national championship. Sun Belt Conference is a very good conference. Is UNO still in it? They were in it.
Southland. UNO used to be in the Sun Belt. Then when they kind of lost their funding a number of years ago, around 10, 11, they dropped down out of it. They were kind of getting rid of athletics for a minute, and they fell enough to where they couldn't be in the Sun Belt. Then they went independent, like a D3 for a year or something. Then they came back. They're in the Southland, which makes more sense. That's where UNO needs to be from a standpoint economically, from a standpoint of what they have financially, their makeup of their school, their fan base, you name it, their location. Southland Conference is where they need to be. And that's a very good baseball conference, by the way. How about this? And I'm happy that the Raging Cajuns have finally gotten into the twos. But here they are, 21 games into their season. The Raging Cajuns as a team are batting .209. .209 as a team. I've never heard of that.
Well, I'm glad they got it above 200, Ronnie. It was in the 180s and 190s not terribly long ago.
Yeah, when LSU played them, that was early in the season, and Raging Cajuns won. They were hitting 177 or something as a team. So they're at least up to 209. But that is like epically horrible. I mean, and I say that lovingly, but it just is. Tony Robichaux and I joked about it. I mean, that's one of those things that's rather laugh than cry. When they beat Tulane down in New Orleans a week and a half ago, I did that broadcast on Cox Sports Television, and before the game, Tony was just like, eventually this thing's got to get turned around. I mean, it just law of averages says it can't stay this bad, so they know it's going to improve. But man, oh man, I mean, 209 is and look, pitching wise, their team ERA is 3.6. They've thrown in 186 innings. The Raging Cajuns have given up only 156 hits. Opponents are batting only .232 as a staff against them. They got 155 strikeouts. They've only walked 80. You'd like to be a little bit better than that, but still, I mean, the numbers from as a pitching staff are there to be a good team. But they're giving their opponents are hitting .232. Your team's only hitting .209.
Yeah, so they're still beating you.
That's all you need to know.
They're still beating you 1-0 and 2-1.
And the Raging Cajuns have only hit 6 home runs all year in 21 ball games.
Yeah, no,
and opponents have hit 10.
He's right. I mean, the law of averages, you hope it does turn around, but you said it all you needed to say with .232 as opponent's batting average. You're hitting .209. I mean, just do the math. And
they're by the way, Raging Cajuns are fielding .983 as a team. So you're fielding.
Okay, but Coach, does anybody ever not field .980 when you have a turf infield?
Well, I mean,
look at. But I'm just making a point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the numbers on that, right?
But nobody makes it. Vanderbilt, I think, leads.
Pull up Southeastern. See what Southeastern.
I will. Feeling. Vanderbilt. They were talking about how good their defense was. Their infield. You don't ever get a bad hop.
Right.
I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. I'd love to see top fielding teams in the country.
But turf and grass.
Exactly.
Natural surface versus synthetic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, this was an interesting standpoint. It sounds like a little bit of a sales job to me, but back in the day, I used to do a lot of Sun Belt games in Troy. I'd go over to Troy a lot, and Troy has an artificial surface field. The entire field is artificial surface. And they always had a very good fielding team, always tops or near the top of the conference. Their coach said that because this was their spin on it, I thought it was pretty ingenious, that because they're on a fake field, and you field at such a high percentage, and you develop a tremendous amount of confidence, and that confidence carries over
to the real
field. So when you get on the real field, you get on a natural surface, you don't panic and think, oh my God, we're on a natural surface. Your instinct is, hey, I expect to make the plays. I'm used to making the plays. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting way to try to look at it.
Not a bad. Well, maybe Southeastern just can't field the ball.
Is it an outlier because they're having their problems?
If this is correct, 959 on the year.
Yeah, that just blows your theory. Although you know what.
Yeah, but it's Southeastern. Come on, Coach. I mean, let's talk about teams that can play a little bit.
Southeastern 6-1 in the league, and probably could be a regional team.
I mean, they'll lose out in the region the 2 games, and it'll be it. Let's talk about teams that you can really do it.
Buzzy not going to be eating in Hammond anytime soon. Ross Dellinger is going to join us in a few minutes here on Sports Shorts. Ross, of course, does a great job covering the Advocate. We'll talk to him about some spring football regarding LSU. We'll talk to him about some baseball. Of course, gymnastics going on. Big story down in New Orleans is Tom Benson, funeral and all the dignitaries from all over the country. But how about this? Wayne Huizenga passed away on Thursday. Wayne Huizenga was the owner of the Miami Dolphins. Waste Management. Do you use Waste Management for your do they come pick up your trash?
No.
Waste Management. He's the founder of Waste Management, Fortune 500 company, of course, made gazillions. Did you like Blockbuster Video back in the day?
I did.
He was the guy. He was the guy behind Blockbuster Video, which
Did he sell out? I hope he sold out.
I think he may have sold out or just closed the doors. Look, things change in a hurry now. Right. Blockbuster used to be the deal. I mean, it's kind of like Redbox. See ya. Redbox will be gone in about 2 more years. Because why would you need a Redbox? I mean, if you can afford the gas to go buy the Redbox and the $2 to rent the Redbox, then just live stream the thing on your computer or your phone or download it or whatever. But the point is, like, Blockbuster was around for about 20 years and was huge. VHS tapes, then it became the DVDs and CDs and all that stuff. It was the bomb.com, and then you couldn't give away a Blockbuster about 10 years ago. But Wayne Huizenga, 80 years old. So in 1 week, 2 former big-time owners. I mean, Wayne Huizenga, formerly with the Dolphins. I think he was the owner when Saban was there, if I remember correctly. And Tom Benson, 90, passed away. And, of course, all the celebration going on, NBA, NFL, you name it. Got a Tom Benson moment or memory or what stands out?
No, just other than what we've talked about before about, him keeping New Orleans here and when the flood happened in 2005. I mean, whether it was totally his decision or not, he made it, it stayed. And so I think that was a big moment for him, obviously. And no, I don't really have much on him.
Wayne, my memory as a 13-year-old when he bought the team in 1985 was, boy, what a great businessman he is, because I think he bought it for like 50 cents and everybody else's money. All right, we'll be back. Sports Shorts, Ross Dellinger will join us right after this.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your big, bulky CPAP device with you whenever you leave home? Yeah. Well, I was too. That's
if
why
your
I'm
doctor
so
prescribes
glad
physical
I called to try
therapy,
the Transcend
ask
Mini
for Peak
CPAP
Performance
for 10
by
nights.
name, getting you back in the game of life.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, Our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
Relief window. Experience Relief window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was, to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
No experience is needed. Again, the next meet is March 29th at Zachary High School. Visit sportsbr.org to register.
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heidel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts. We got a full house here with us. Buzzy Heidel, Ross Dellinger here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. Ross, how you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
Welcome to the new abode.
Yeah, very nice. It's very nice. Yeah. Cozy, but nice.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, you and Buzz, but we know Buzz showered.
You got to like each other here. You got to like each other.
Absolutely. It's better than the old Sports Shorts set where you literally couldn't have two people sitting. Although we did. We had the Jordan twins or something. No, we had Mason Katz and Rafe Rhymes one time on Sports Shorts a few years ago when they were doing their thing when Rhymes was hitting like 400. And in the old set, there was one seat. And we put two of them in one seat. I think they were like one was sitting on the other's leg. It was very awkward. All right, Ross, of course, been covering LSU athletics for a long time. How many years?
5.
5 years already. 5,
yeah.
Golly, time flies.
I know, man. Yeah, it'll be 5 this coming fall. So it's
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Biloxi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I got family that lives in New Iberia, and I was born in Morgan City, actually. Yeah, lived in Slidell for a little while, but I was raised in Biloxi.
So he knows the legend of Doug Thompson if he's from the
Biloxi.
Biloxi area.
Absolutely.
He grew up idolizing
My dad always talks about Doug Thompson.
Yeah, Dougie boy. I was in Biloxi. He got honored some award over there. I emceed like a year ago over at the beautiful MGM ballpark, which is really cool, right outside the Beau Rivage. Biloxi High. So, all right, you've been here 5 years. Before we get to the serious stuff, favorite restaurant?
Oh, man. Shoot.
You're a foodie. I've seen you around.
I know.
Yeah.
I love Rufino's.
Yeah.
I do.
But don't just say that because you're afraid of Ruffin. I mean, he's a big guy. Come on.
I love Rufino's. God, you're going to put me on the spot here. I like sushi. So, Sushi Yama.
Everybody loves Sushiyama.
Oh, man, it's
like
the best,
true
man.
hardcore sushi eaters.
People.
Everybody says Sushiyama. Now I'm a
It's
roll
the
guy.
best.
I'm a wimp. I don't do sashimi,
right,
the natural stuff. I want it fried.
Right.
But so I can go anywhere and get a decent roll, right? For the most part. Sushiyama, people love it.
The raw fish is the freshest in town. Yeah, it's
yeah.
great. I go to Tsunami. I live in Spanish Town, so I walk downtown.
Yeah,
Tsunami's right
great
there. It's
view.
kind of beautiful. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we go up there a lot. There's a restaurant downtown called Blend. It's like a wine bar.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
great food.
Yeah,
It's kind of underrated.
Yeah, Sean
It's
Malone, one of the owners of that, former Serrano's guy, and of course Sean works at LeBear's. Buzz, you got a favorite?
Yeah, I'm a Rufino's guy. You put me on a new lunch spot, though. I got to tell you, Coach. Elise Pot and Pie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is it
No,
Elise?
it's not Elise. Elise.
What is it?
That's the cousin. That's her cousin. She opened up a place in Port Allen. Elise's plate and pie.
I thought it was Elise's.
Elsie's. It's Elsie's
Oh,
plate and
man.
pie, by the way.
Sorry, we butchered
Elsie's
that,
plate and
but
pie.
if you want some better
is
pub,
good. Yeah,
pay us.
Exactly. That's 100% right. I mean, we'll get the name right and the location, times, and website if you give us a little doubt.
Right, but that's
no,
great.
that Elsie's plate and pie is
good.
legit.
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
And it's
I
big time.
want to throw my sushi place out there if I can, since we're all talking about Sushi Masa.
Yeah, that's right around the corner.
Yeah,
Sushiyama, right?
I think it is. It's right there off
Sushi
Essen and
Essen,
Perkins.
yeah.
Okay.
Essen and right there by. I don't want to keep throwing all kind of names out there, but right there by Ichiban.
Okay.
But it's Sushi Masa, and it's a great lunch deal. It's like
It's like the Bermuda Triangle of sushi, right?
It really is. No,
Essen and
it really
Perkins.
is.
but Sushi Masa is really, really good. Lunch special. It's like all you can eat. But it's crazy. It's good though.
All right. So we've got Ross Dellinger, Buzzy Heidel here with us on Sports Shorts. So Ross, LSU football. It's kind of at a weird time right now. Would you say it's a crossroads of LSU football? Like kind of make it or break it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the real crossroads was probably the hiring of the coach. You know, you're kind of at that point, like, what do you do? And you've got all these options. And they went this direction, and, you know, some people were excited. A lot of people were probably disappointed. But you win championships, and everybody's going to be happy about it. So, yeah, you're kind of in this interesting time where, you know, you went 9-4, and I think that was decent, but that's not why you hired the coach, right? You hired the coach to go 12-0 or 12-1 or whatever and win championships. So, and he's got a team that it's his team now. You know, that's the thing. Like, you know, I think only 3 players on this team started a game under Les Miles. Only 3. I mean, he's only been gone for less than 2 years. You know,
Right.
So it's crazy that the changeover on the team already. A lot of that had to do with people leaving for the draft, but
Right.
the changeover in the team. This is his team, so you know if he's got his guys on there. But it's you know, this year is, you know, everybody expects a championship, but they're going to be losing a lot. Yeah. So the year they're building to is certainly 19 and 20. You know, the 19 recruiting class that Ed Orgeron's talking up, that 19 recruiting class, man. So he better deliver with it. And after you get those guys, you got to win. So 19 and 20
you got to be here
key.
to get to work with them.
True.
I mean, like,
It's true.
You know,
It's true.
I mean, how many coaches have we always heard about that, right? They recruit, but you got to win in order to actually
Right.
see those recruits come to fruition. You mentioned the recruiting. I mean, when I think about Ed Orgeron, that's what I think about, right? I mean, that's what got him the job, and the fact that he was a lifetime recruiter. He recruited great. When you see his resume and body of work at wherever he was as an assistant, it all was about the recruiting. Heck, even what he did at Ole Miss was all about the recruiting. Even though they were bad when he was there, he left a lot of talent in the cupboard. And so, you know, that's what he's got to do. This year's recruiting class,
Yeah, right. I mean, it was the first one to not be ranked in the top 10 in 10 years or something here. So, you know, the one thing that the recruiting class did do was fill the offensive and defensive line
Address needs.
There were some issues there.
Yeah.
There was some real issues there that you don't see in a major college program. I mean,
just depth.
Yeah, I mean, they went to Mississippi State and at one point had 3 defensive tackles, I think, available. You can't win in this league with that, man. So he built up that. I think he signed maybe 8 defensive linemen,
Right.
and then signed 5 offensive linemen. So 12 or 11 linemen overall. So that's what you need. You filled that need. Unfortunately, you missed on a really big cornerback. Patrick Surtain would have probably moved your ranking up from 15 to 10. Probably would have got you in the top 10 or pretty close. And then you didn't get a quarterback. So you filled these needs on the line, but you didn't get a quarterback. You missed on a cornerback that everybody thought was coming here, and he went to your arch rival.
From spring football, we always traditionally over the years have put so much stock in spring football, right? I mean, and usually we have our heart broken because we expect to learn so much and see so many different things at the spring game, and then we go and same old thing. And so, all right, go ahead, get my heart broken again. I mean, what are we going to get out of this spring? I mean, besides a look at the quarterbacks, I guess. Right?
Well, I mean, for a second straight year, you're going through an offensive overhaul. So they're trying out and tinkering with, a more. I hate to say, I feel like I say it every year. I remember the 2016 offseason, the year before Les was fine. Oh, we're passing the ball. Y'all should see us out there. We're zinging it around. And then, the spring game comes and, what was that? And, they're not going to show anything anyway. The season comes and the first play of the season is a toss dive up the middle. So, and then he's fired 3 weeks later. So, we say it every year, but Ensminger and Orgeron and some of the players that you talk to, they are adamant. We are passing the ball. Yeah. We promise we are passing the ball. You should see us pass the ball. And I'll say this, for the first time here, this spring is not unlike as we're talking about the last few springs. There's one really big difference, and I'm serious about it. Miles Brennan has got a cannon. He's very accurate, and I think he's going to be very good. But you got to also have a line to block, and you got to have a running back to run, and receivers got to catch balls. And what I heard from the first scrimmage is that receivers weren't catching balls, and the line wasn't blocking, and Miles was running for his life. Well, that's a problem. You got to have it all together. Now, the last scrimmage, according to Orgeron, was a lot better, and they had a better blocking and stuff. But who knows? We can't see it.
Yeah, and they traditionally information coming from scrimmages when you don't have your eyes on it, or just a lot of the numbers are just flat out made up. It makes sense that they would throw the football a lot because you don't have the running backs. And you don't have the experience at running back. I mean, you're going to have to run to keep things equal, but who's going to run the ball?
Right. Well, just before spring, I sat down with Ed in his office, and that's one of the things he said was not having a running back is, I'm looking at it, glass half full, it's going to force us to pass the ball. And he said that it's going to force us to pass the ball or at least work on a passing game to a certain degree where we're going to have to be at least somewhat efficient at it. And that's what they're doing. I mean, he's bringing in, Ensminger's kind of bringing in this shotgun kind of one back, 3-4 wide receiver. That's what they've been doing. They've been slinging the ball around. It's just, again, can you catch the ball? Can you block enough on the offensive line? I remember Toby Weathersby last year told me something. We were in the middle of the season. And, last spring we talked about Canada's offense. Everybody, he's going to throw it more. He's going to throw it more. We got the jet sweeps. He's going to throw it. And we're talking to Toby in the middle of last season. They weren't throwing the ball. I mean, they were throwing the ball a little better, We're like, what? Why aren't y'all throwing more? Like, what happened here? He said, man, y'all don't understand. For 20 years, we've been a team here, a program built around running the football and run blocking. We can't just go out there and pass block every time. It's not that easy. We can't do. And it kind of like awoke in me, like, wow, I didn't ever think about that. Like, this team and program is built on running the football.
Right.
You got personnel that run the football, offensive linemen that run block.
Right.
So they got to figure out how to pass block. Yeah.
The you've been covering football, but you also for a while covered baseball. Which do you prefer?
I prefer football. I'm a football guy. My dad's a high school football coach. I kind of grew up on football. I think I miss about baseball a lot is just so much more laid back and dealing
access.
With dealing with Maneri. I mean, his door is literally open. You just walk right into his office. He's great to work with.
Hey, Ross.
I mean,
yeah.
Yes. And so he's great, and the program is always great. The assistants, everybody, just the access and the friendliness and the openness to everything. I miss that. I miss the road trips too. Those are always fun.
Ross Dellinger, Buzzy Heydel, Ronnie Rantz. When we come back, we'll talk a little. We'll get his take on LSU baseball. Also, we'll talk some golf because you're got a cool trip coming up. And by the way, Buzz and I have been to the Masters. We can give you some tips. We went together. We'll tell you about it. We'll talk a little Masters golf. David Toms, Tiger Woods, a whole lot more. Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts will continue right after this.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Does the new year mean new windows, hardy plank, or vinyl siding? Then you need to call Relief Windows for award-winning customer service and years of experience. Looking for quality replacement windows with lifetime warranties? Trust Relief Windows. Call us or come walk through our showroom and get a free consultation with one of our many window experts. Relief Windows is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Come see us today or call 288-8138. 288-8138.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak.
Sports Shorts Radio with Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis, and Buzzy Heidel on 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rantz, Buzzy Heidel, former 09 national champion in baseball, Ross Dellinger, who, any championships, little leagues, anything, high school?
No.
Never?
Regionals in golf in high school?
I mean, hey, whatever.
A regional title.
Right. Personal or team?
Team.
Team.
Yeah,
What high school?
Personal. Went to Mercy Cross, now defunct in Biloxi.
Oh.
Katrina kind of washed it away.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Last title they ever won.
Yeah, that was it. Yes.
All right, Mercy Cross Regional Golf Champion 2000.
2001 or
2001
maybe.
All right, there you go. I mean, so we got a bunch of champions here at the table. Speaking of golf, since you are a champion golfer, which, Buzz, you're not. So, I mean, what do you shoot, Ross?
What I shot then was, like 10 handicap, probably.
Okay,
80,
so like
82.
Buzz. Yeah.
Is it though? I mean, I may have shot a 76 yesterday. First time picking up the clubs in 7 months.
But I mean, what is your official handicap? Do you load it into the computer every round and do it like you're supposed to?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because when I go play with you at Stream Song, none of you guys believe me. And they try to give me a 0 handicap when I'm a true 8. It's baloney, and I lose the damn tournament. But no, don't get me fired up about this because I keep my handicap.
Already fired up.
No, but the point is, I keep it, pay the money a month, pay the annual
40
subscription.
a year, whatever.
40 a year, but do it. While these guys don't, but they just, I'm about a, no, what are you? Because I'm an 8.
You pay money to do what?
To keep a handicap.
Keep his handicap.
I didn't even know that.
He's official.
Yeah, to be official. And these
PGA
guys, these
member.
Miami guys, Ronnie Rantz fits right in with them. They just, well, I think you're this. Well, no, I don't think anything. I'm telling you what I am. I have it on my app. I mean, it's right here. It's on my phone.
So
sorry.
All right.
So
are you still an 8? Because that was a year ago in the game. You hadn't been playing as much. And
I hadn't, and so no.
You think it's a 9?
Probably more like trending 9. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
9.
I mean, according to BG, it was 85 on the text.
Is that what he shot?
85 or something.
Oh, well, I can roll BG then. I mean, that's nothing.
Brian Langlois. So, by the way, you're going to be. This is really cool. Is we went and it was one of Buzzy's greatest days of his life. You're going to the Masters on April the 5th, Thursday, April the 5th, the open around the Masters. First time you've ever been.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I entered the lottery to get tickets, and
that's cool.
I just started
Which means
last
you didn't have to pay a premium. I mean, you paid a lot of money, but you have to pay a premium.
Ticket, this is only my second year of entering the lottery, and it came back last May or June. It came back
in
one
my
or email,
two?
Man. I get 2. 2 tournament round tickets. If you get practice round, you get 4, I think.
Okay.
But so me and my dad will go on that opening rounds. I'm pretty pumped about that.
Well, that's awesome. Well, the same day that there's the deal, April the 5th, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which I'm the president of, we're doing an event, a fundraiser up in Monroe. That's so, a little under 2 weeks, April the 5th, Thursday, the first night of the Masters. We're doing a tournament event up in Monroe to benefit not only the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation, but the David Toms Foundation. David Toms, of course, the greatest golfer in the history of Louisiana, 13-time PGA Tour champion as far as the tournaments on the tour, 2001 PGA Championship winner. He got inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame last year up in Natchitoches last summer. He lives in Shreveport, so we're going to go over to Monroe, do an event at Bayou Desir Country Club. So we've got a little kind of promo for you that we're going to play. And if you're a fan, we got some people coming up from Baton Rouge. If you're a fan of golf, perfect time. We're going to have this dinner event up there on Thursday, April the 5th to benefit both foundations. He's going to do a 45-minute panel discussion at the end with myself where he's going to talk about Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and take questions and all that from the audience. So here's the event, April the 5th. Put it on your calendar, and at the end it'll tell you how you can get tickets and join us. Hi, I'm Ronnie Rantz, the president and CEO of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. Please make plans to join us April the 5th in Monroe for a very special evening with David Toms at Bayou Desir Country Club, sponsored by State Farm Insurance agents Jeff Lamont, Ben Tullis, Eddie Knights, and Tag Rome. This event's going to start at 6 p.m. with David with a 1-hour cocktail party where you get a chance to meet and greet David Toms, the most decorated golfer in the history of Louisiana. He's won 13 PGA Tour victories in his time, including the 2001 PGA Championship, where he'll actually bring that Wanamaker trophy. You'll get a chance to touch and feel and take a picture with it as well. At 7 o'clock, dinner will begin. At that time, we'll hear from the ULM golf team, as well as 2017's Miss Louisiana will perform her award-winning ventriloquist act. But at the end of the night, it'll culminate with a 40-minute panel discussion where David Toms and myself on stage will tell you some of the great stories of his times with Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and many others. They'll also take questions at the end. There'll be live and silent auctions to benefit the David Toms Foundation, as well as the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. For more information, please click the link in the description and share this to all your friends on Facebook, social media, and many other formats as well. Make sure to join us April the 5th in Monroe at Bayou Desir Country Club for a very special evening with David Toms. Well, there you go. That's the same night. The thing I'm looking forward to on that event is it's the same night as the Masters.
Right.
And I got a buzz. I mean, Tiger Woods being back in the news, it's amazing. I talked to a guy, he owns a golf shop up in Alexandria, and he said that business is up in the last month because of Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it's amazing. And look, when the Masters comes around for me, even when Tiger's not in it,
it's a religious experience.
Insurance,
for you.
a whole lot of insurance ain't getting sold. I can just tell you. We got it on in the office. I mean, we're at the office, but it's on, and it's I'm a big golfer. You know that, Ronnie. I love it. I hadn't played in a while, and I got back on there yesterday, and it's got the juices flowing again. So I'm ready to get back out with Tiger Woods in it. It makes it that much special, and I'm trying to look for the odds right now, but he's up there. It's incredible.
I think he's like the favorite, which is ridiculous.
It is incredible.
But it's just what the fans want.
It is, and so I know you're going to the Masters. I know that's going to be an awesome event.
Who you pulling for, Ross? You got a favorite golfer?
Oh, I grew up with Phil and Tiger. That was when I was playing golf, just seeing them going back and forth in the early 2000s and stuff. So either one of them, man, love to see them play well. Always like to see them play well. I used to be a huge fan of David Toms. I certainly was. I remember going to see him at what was then called the Compact Classic in English Turn, down here.
I went to English Turn. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I remember growing up around seeing Phil and David Toms play there, and those are probably my 3 favorite growing up.
Phil is playing well too. He won this year, first time in a while. Tiger's back in it. So and Phil always plays good at the Masters. So it's got the making.
Are you gonna try to follow somebody, or are you gonna go just walk and see the holes?
I want to do both. I think I'll have enough time to do both. I want to follow Tiger for a little while, because he never came to New Orleans. He would never come, and so I've never seen him play, live. So I want to do that.
30 seconds for you to answer this question. Tom Benson, what's going to be your legacy of him?
Every time I think of Tom Benson, I just think of the Superdome. That image of the dome. And I grew up going to Saints game. My grandpa had season tickets. Drove back and forth. The hour drive from Biloxi, and grew up going over there to Saints games, man. Him with the umbrella, they won I remember they won their first playoff game in the 90s, maybe.
2000. Aaron Brooks, I think.
Partying on the field with the umbrella and all that stuff. So that'll be the defining memory for me,
Ross, thank you, man, for
no
zipping over and joining us here on
Yes, sir.
Sports Shorts. Buzzy HAYDEL. Buzzy, who's your pick to win the Masters, by the way?
Ooh, I'm going to go Dustin Johnson because I love him.
Even though he played like doo-doo this past week?
Yeah, but I'm a Dustin Johnson guy. I pull for him.
All right, DJ, who partied at LeBear's prior to rehab. He came in and watched a concert over there. All right, Buzzy HAYDEL, Ross Dellinger, thanks. Check us out, Sports Shorts, next week. Have a good one.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Attention to detail makes the world go round. At Baker Printing, our approach to the printing business is very simple. Treat it as if it were your own. That's not always an easy job, but it comes from the top down in our company. We thrive on the unique jobs. Bottom line, we take care of our customers' projects as if they were our very own. At Baker Printing, attention to detail makes our world go round.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Does the new year mean new windows, hardy plank, or vinyl siding? Then you need to call Relief Windows for award-winning customer service and years of experience. Looking for quality replacement windows with lifetime warranties? Trust Relief Windows. Call us or come walk through our showroom and get a free consultation with one of our many window experts. Relief Windows is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Come see us today or call 288-8138. 288-8138.